Hey everyone, my name's Chris Lambert, and on this channel we talk Kanye West. And today we are continuing, I guess hopefully the epic conclusion to the last 24 hours of Mike Dean, Kanye, what's going on. That started yesterday. You can see we made a first video saying, breaking, Mike Dean leaves Atlanta. Is this good news, bad news, or what? And that's because Mike tweeted, it's good to be home. And we're just like, oh, he's no longer in Atlanta. What's going on? And we started speculating, the good news would be that he finished doing things on Donda, so he's going home. The bad news would be that there was some kind of falling out between him and Kanye, differences on the album, and there were some tweets and actions to support that reading. And then the neutral was just Mike has a show next week at the Echoplex and wanted to go home and prepare for the show. Mike also was home between listening party 1 and listening party 2, so it's not the end of the world for him to suddenly be out of Atlanta. But then you can see we made a second video saying breaking, a bad ending between Mike Dean and Kanye West. And that's because Mike tweeted some things, then deleted them, also had some Instagram activity that just, to me, read very pointed against Kanye and the experience of putting this album together. And it was things like he left the stadium secretly on Monday because he had to get out of there. And you're just like, oh wow, were things that bad? And there was a whole conversation about the experience in the stadium and Mike potentially leaving the project that Mike commented in at the end that just said toxic, that's it. And to the credit of a lot of fans, I'm sure some viewers on here, there were people saying Mike's not talking about Kanye, he's not talking about the album, he's talking about the fans and how toxic the fans have been. And Mike seemingly confirmed that today. He started off with this tweet at 8:43 a.m. saying, I haven't quit anything. The album continues, LOL. People read too much into tweets, LOL. Which, like, okay. People read a lot into the tweets because there was a lot to read. So we're going to get into this. We're going to get into some of the other tweets he had today. And also some theories about what happened. Because, okay, maybe we'll just start with that. The first way of reading all of this is that there really was just miscommunication. Mike was expressing some frustrations with the stadium experience, but not necessarily the album or Kanye. I don't think any of us would really enjoy being stuck in a stadium for weeks at a time when you have other things that you want to get to are doing. It can just be nice to be home. And Mike expressing that isn't an issue, right? So it could just be miscommunication, especially with like the toxic tweet and other things. So, things just escalated. People took things out of context. Mike maybe didn't explain things in the best of ways. Like it made sense to him as he's thinking it, but for the context that we have on Twitter, okay, so just completely overblown. The second way of reading it is that there really was tension between Mike and Kanye. And Mike wanted to vent some frustrations, but then it started snowballing. A lot of fans were picking up on it. It starts resounding through Twitter and social media. People start writing articles, and Mike's like, yo, I was frustrated, but I wasn't like, upset, and now starts walking it back, right? And just saying, I was talking about fans. And okay, so end of the day, a little bit of a tiff, some frustration, and we're just moving on, right? Regardless of the details of the situation. The third way of viewing it is that Mike is a troll. And, there's some of you that's probably going to be like, Chris, that's unfair. Mike is a legend. Like, take his word at face value. And it's just, I was there for 2016 Mike Dean, for The Life of Pablo and the Periscopes Mike was doing. While all of us were waiting for the album between Yeezy Season 3 at Madison Square Garden and the release of it a few days later, Mike would go on Instagram or on Periscope and do these live videos where he was, mocking us, trash talking us, and having fun. It was like generally fun, but it was also frustrating. He'd be like, oh, if the stream gets 10,000 viewers, we'll like play a new song. People asking him to play the song or finish the album. He's like, oh yeah, we're going to finish the album, but we're going to order a pizza first. Things like that. And then kind of laughing. He's just like, he has the audience in the palm of his hand. This is the one video I could find from that time. And it's 11 minutes, but you really do get a taste of Mike Dean enjoying the attention, enjoying pushing the buttons on fans. So having lived through this experience, I see what happens yesterday, and I'm just like, is Mike just once again kind of turning the tables on fans? Is he just drumming up interest in his show? We see a lot of artists do this. We see Kanye do this. He takes to social media, starts tweeting some wild things, gets all this attention, and it's all to promote whatever thing he's doing or about to do. And Mike, stirring up some controversy around Donda has brought all this attention to him. He's promoted his music several times, which, could just happen with getting the attention in general. But the conspiracy part of me, the cynical part of me is just like, was this just a troll doing good marketing? So, okay. And then real fast, I do want to point out, I understand, Bo Burnham. I'm sure some of you that immediately saw just like this video and this video, and then me also to the left. There to the left, and just thought of Bo Burnham's Inside. If you haven't watched Inside, there's this one skit where he does this song and then does a reaction to the song, and then does a reaction to the reaction, and then does a reaction to the reaction to the reaction to the song. But just very visually similar there. Okay, so earlier today, Mike Dean tweets, "I haven't quit anything. The album continues, LOL. People read too much into tweets." Okay, so, and then a couple hours later, he tweets, "The sky is falling. Let's see if that makes a headline. The ocean is dying." Pretty intense, but also worthy headlines. And you can see that he also said, "Also, it's good not to be breathing toxic stadium air and to be in sunny LA for a while. Mexico soon. Like, I'm traveling, I'm away from Atlanta." But the word toxic here is just kind of tongue in cheek, as people were rightly talking about this thread right here. Ethan J. Castle said, "Well, he tweeted, 'Fuck it,' and glad to be back at the house. One can assume he's fed up with the Donda process since he's deleted all the listening party posts off his Instagram. My anxiety right now." And then Logic, Rap 301 said, "Yeah, just saw, I don't think Donda's scrapped, but I do think Mike Dean isn't involved anymore." Ethan comes back, "Mike Dean seems to have done all the best work on it, though. This all feels toxic. It definitely isn't healthy on either party to be stuck in a stadium for weeks. This is the weirdest rollout ever." And Mike says, "Toxic, that's it." So that was the context a lot of us had for toxic. But Mike comes through and says, "I mean, toxic fans asking questions, you moron writers." Yeah, us, me included. Jesus, people take shutout shit out of context, LOL, bye. Which, like, out of context, this is one of those things with, like, okay, the context was Mike's done with Donda. He was sick of the stadium experience, and Mike's coming in and saying toxic, that's it. There's no comment in here that's like, the fans were bothering him so much. That's why he removed all these Kanye posts from his Instagram. All the Kanye posts are back, by the way. But he took all the Kanye posts out of it and then said, "Instagram purge, check it out." And people went and looked and they're like, "Oh, there's no Kanye." And then he tweeted some other things, like, "I had to secretly leave the stadium." He tweeted the toxic thing. So it was just like the context of all of that was just like, it seems like it's a not happy with Kanye, where he's saying, no, toxic fans. Just like, if fans were mentioned here, I'd get it. And maybe you could say he removed the post with Kanye because fans were commenting on those specifically, asking, "Where's Donda?" So it's easier to take out the Kanye related stuff. But at this point, I feel like people are just going to comment on everything and say, where's Donda? Donda, where, Mike? Like, so excited to see you. So no Donda. No one cares. Where's Donda? Like, it's happening on every post that he does at this point. So the fact that he's just taking out the Kanye ones, like, you can understand why there's miscommunication going on here and why somebody might feel like, oh, he's just walking it back, or this was all just an elaborate troll job by Mike Dean. But fans have been bothering him, like, incessantly. And you would imagine if the fans were the problem, then the stadium would be the problem, right? So him saying that he secretly had to leave the stadium and that the stadium experience, which is what is being talking about here, is toxic. It's like, well, all you'd have to do is put your phone down and not get on social media, and the stadium would be fine, right? Because whether he's home, whether he's at the stadium, it's the fans on your social media accounts on your phone that are the toxic ones. So again, this just feels like the toxic was in context of the stadium or the album, not the fans, though Mike has been complaining about the fans in his defense. Complaining about the memes, complaining about, like, unhappy about all the jokes regarding Kanye's holding Mike Dean hostage, Kanye's like texting from Mike's phone or tweeting from Mike's phone. So I get why he's frustrated. It's just, I also get why people took what he was saying out of context. And when he says, let's see if that makes a headline, there were places writing yesterday about, like, Mike Dean quits the project. You can see ID Magazine here. Kanye West producer Mike Dean has apparently pulled out of Donda. And all of these places have written these articles in the aftermath of Mike saying this, like, I'm still working on the project, the album continues, but he is absolutely generating headlines. So it's like he tweets this, all these headlines come out, and then he follows up with this a few hours later. Like, are you kidding me? Why is this headline stuff? But I guess that's just what happened. And there are going to be people that are just like, yeah, I've been telling you all, it was just about the fans. Everyone overreacted. There's going to be people that I think are saying, no, he seemed to mean what he said. And now he's just walking it back. And then, my theory is just the troll theory, But I do think there is truth to what Mike's saying here about he's tired of people asking questions about where the album's at. So that part is very true. But watch this video. If you've never watched or you weren't around for the 2016 Periscopes, just watch this video to get an idea of what I'm talking about. So that's it for this video. If you're enjoying the channel and you want to support us, the easiest way is to like, subscribe, or comment. Any of those things tell YouTube this is a channel people like, and then they show it to others, which goes a long way in supporting us. So thank you to all of you who do that. We also have our podcast, Watching the Throne, a lyrical analysis of Kanye West, where we do deep dives into the meaning, themes, and nuance of every Kanye song and album. So if there's a song where you're like, I feel like there's more going on here, we've probably talked about it. If there's an album where you have wondered, I think there's more going on here, we've talked about it. So we've currently covered College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, 808s, Yay, Kids See Ghosts, and Jesus is King. Our season on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy starts this upcoming week. Tomorrow, the first preview episode and Dark Fantasy will also drop this week. Both episodes are very good. So this is the thing that we are most well known for. It's our wheelhouse when it comes to narrative and thematic analysis. We do this kind of work with movies on our analysis site, Film Colossus. So it's very conversational. You might get tired of us talking, and you might not agree with every conclusion we make, but there's going to be at least one thing in each episode that causes you to go, whoa, I've never thought about it that way before. All right, that's really cool. Promise you that. We also have our Patreon, which is patreon.com/Kanye Podcast, where you can get all of these episodes ad-free. So that also goes a long way for helping us. So that's it. Until next time, stay wavy and keep it loopy. Cheers.